Howdy, folks. Today let's talk about the Letshuoer DZ, what is it, 4? DZ4. Letshuoer has the most random names for their IEMs ever. We got the EJ07, this thing, DZ4, EJ09, you get my point. This is 3 dynamic drivers and 1 passive radiator is what Letshuoer said, and that's in all the promo stuff. Thank you, Letshuoer, for sending me these, and that's, well, sorry in advance. Okay, let's just talk about some stuff here. I will point to things, try not to shake too much, Jesus. Okay, so we see our 3 dynamic drivers, and then we see that that would have gone there. That's the passive radiator. And, sorry, getting some stuff off that. The question that a lot of folks have is that what's going on with this? And so let me explain some stuff. We can see that we have the 2-pin right up in here, right? 2-pin. 2-pin goes to, let me just see if I could focus this a little better. 2-pin goes to directly, we have 2 circuits here. You can see the red and the gold. And directly from the 2-pin, we see it going to 1 dynamic driver and then 2 dynamic drivers. So these 2 drivers are in fact full range. That is to say that they're getting the full signal from the 2-pin. Then, same circuit crosses over here. Well, crosses to, this is the passive crossover network. You can see it right there. It goes along the side right here. And this is the base driver right here. And I've already been messing with this. This is not exactly the way it came out of the box. It had more of a damper like this on the base driver. And you can imagine that I usually mess with things when I don't like them, and I don't like this. Any case, so out of this, and if we flip this over, I'm just going to go ahead and remove these. Yep, see, I've been playing around. Come here. It doesn't matter that much because this doesn't sound good. Well, good enough, something like that. So I already pulled the white material out of the nulls, dampers. I think these are nulls, whatever they are. God, get out of the way. Sorry. Get there. Let me see if I can focus that a little better. There we go. All right, so what we got going on, the smaller bore right here is for bass, and then these 2 guys are for the 2 full range drivers. They both had white nulls dampers in them, same ones. So that on this side, that's these 2 drivers right here. And I'll just put it like this. To have 2 6 millimeter full range drivers in this, like, what is the point of that? If you actually do some calculations, which I probably should do, 2 6 millimeter drivers surface area compared to 1 10 millimeter. Let me just punch that up on Google. Give me a sec here. Should have done that immediately. All right, so if we have a radius of, in millimeters, 6, surface area of 0.70, well, sorry, let me just go to millimeters, yeah. So 452 millimeters squared for the surface area. Then, if we double that, we have, we'll say 900 millimeters squared. But if I put a 10, just a straight up 10, so comparing 2 6s to 1 10 millimeter, we have a surface area of 1256 millimeters squared for 1 10 millimeter. So basically what I'm trying to say is, what's the point? You have a greater surface area with a 10 millimeter versus these 2. I suppose that if you have a smaller driver, typically that would mean that you might have a little bit higher resolution, higher high-end detail, because the driver mass, the 6 millimeter membrane on the driver would be smaller physically. But in reality, these don't have a lot of good extension to them. I did a graph, and I don't care about it. They just don't sound good enough. There's no point in talking about it. They're a little bit dark. The mids are a little bit too forward for me and a little bit honky in some odd way, which is weird, because the graph doesn't really look like that in any case. So I've explained some stuff. We got this little passive crossover. So this driver right here is only doing bass. And I played with that a little bit. You can get it kind of flat or a little bit of a sub bass increase on this, but a 6mm driver bass is pathetic compared to a 10mm, and that's the way this sounds to me. Now, then they put in this guy here, which is a passive, probably 6mm driver thing, right? And so everyone is like, well, what's in this thing? And immediately we see that we have a damper right here. That's very, very obvious. This is a like a nylon fabric damper. So I spent the last couple days trying to pull this apart, and I finally got it apart enough to actually look at it. So here we go. So this is that. This is the passive driver. All right. Minus the top shell to it, which is this. Let's scoot that over. We could see on the inside that we have, in fact, a fabric vinyl damper on the inside of the passive driver facing out. And then, here's the driver. And I was very suspicious that this was not really a passive, but look at this. Look at that. It is, in fact, a passive 6mm driver. So if folks think about maybe like their favorite Bluetooth speaker, portable Bluetooth, a lot of those have little passive drivers in there to increase the bass output. Now, increase the bass output, but not make it deeper. That generally doesn't work like that. You end up with some resonance above, say, sub frequencies. So in any case, that's actually working. That's a passive driver. So bravo to you guys, Letshuoer, for actually doing what you said on the box. Cool. So out of all of that, these are relatively nicely wide sounding headphones. I thought immediately that the stage was fairly cool on these. And that's where the niceness stops. I couldn't really enjoy metal on them very well. They had a rather forward mid tonality and then really no sparkles or air. Like there is a little bit, but there's just no way that for whatever this is, 80, 90 bucks, that this is going to be, let's say, like an Olina special edition. It's not even up there. In fact, I don't really like this more than a lot of $20 driver headphones. So it's kind of like Letshuoer was like, their tuner was like, man, what can I do to show the world that I can tune literally anything? And he came up with this monstrosity. Any case, yeah, so hopefully that explains what's going on with this headphone. Can't recommend it, and I don't like it. And have a good one.